Imagine being 85 years old, looking back and realizing there were things you could have done differently, but now it's too late. That's what I hear from retirees all the time. I wish I would have done blank because now I'm not able to. So, to help you avoid having these same regrets, over the past year, I've spent extra time talking with my older clients. These are people in their latter years of life when reality hits that some things will never happen and others just can't be changed. Their answers were honest and emotional. For today's video, I've narrowed them down to 4 big regrets that you'll want to know about so you can do things just a little bit differently to avoid having these same costly regrets in your life when the time comes. Hi, I'm Rob, Certified Financial Planner, here to help you get the most ROI out of life and your money. My hope for today is that after hearing these 4 big regrets, maybe you can do things even just a little bit differently to avoid having these same regrets when the time comes. The first thing most people I spoke with regretted was they wished they had taken up at least one of the hobbies they always wanted to do but never took the time. Things they really wanted to do, but just for one reason or another, they just didn't. Most reference just kind of making poor excuses in hindsight for why they didn't do these things. One client I spoke with always wanted to play the guitar. He always wanted to be the friend or grandpa sitting around the campfire playing music for everyone, but he regrets never taking the time to learn, even in retirement, when in hindsight he admits that he absolutely did have the time. Another client said she always wanted to go on long-distance bike rides, and she regrets never doing it. And as you'll see in a few minutes, she's a great example of someone who, if she had just taken up this hobby that she always wanted to do and then made the time for it, it would have helped her in other areas of her life. Are there any hobbies you've always wanted to do but keep putting off because you can't find the time? Number 2, over-prioritizing work. Almost everyone I spoke with said they looked back and said, geez, that stuff that I thought was so important, that there was nothing more important at that moment than work, in hindsight, just really wasn't that important. Or it was important, but it wasn't more important than whatever that they were missing for the work, their family, relationships, trips, ball games. One person specifically said on this topic, it wasn't the big stuff that she missed. It was the little moments, the stuff that may not look important at the time, where work may look far more important because that pays the bills and it seems more important in that moment, but looking back, it just wasn't. This is another one that I think most people can relate to. Those moments where we're all stressed out, think we've got to get something done, nothing is more important than that phone call, but it's during the school play or it's the soccer game. And we're missing the goal for what? A call that we absolutely couldn't miss, but in hindsight, we realize that phone call could have easily waited for an hour later or maybe even the next morning. In a recent poll by Harris Poll in 2024, they called out the Office of Culture report. They surveyed over 1,000 working Americans, and they found that 78% do not use the maximum paid time off that they have available, which tells me that so many more people are set up for this same regret. And if we're talking about things like paid time off, there's no excuse. Even if you don't go anywhere, take the time. And so again, I understand this. I'm guilty of this myself, but I'm just sharing this from the stories of people who have already been there, that they're saying those moments, those work things that we're stressed about and we think are so critical, if it's going to cause you to miss moments in life with friends and family, the things and the people that you're working so hard for, maybe just take a breath and reassess which one's more important. Hey, if you're enjoying this video, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our latest videos and strategies for a better retirement. Number 3, they regret not taking better care of their health. One of my clients said, I just wish I had done what the doctor told me to do before things became a real problem. She was saying that the doctors, they gave her all of the warnings, but she just kept doing what she wanted, not exercising, not eating better. And while she was younger, it was fine. But now she's really slowed down from doing some of the things that she still wanted to be able to do later in life when she had the free time during retirement. She believes that if she had done things even just a little bit differently early on, she'd be in much better shape now and would maybe still be able to travel the way that she wants to. So The message from this one is, as hard as it can be to do, and as much as we already know we should be doing those things, we need to be proactive with our health. Don't wait for issues to become big problems with intense solutions requiring massive actions. Just do a little bit along the way, because minor changes can make a huge difference. Right? We don't want to not take care of ourselves, working so hard, working ourselves to the bone so that we can enjoy retirement. But then we get to retirement, and here are multiple people I've spoken with that are all saying one thing they wish they would have done is take better care of their health so that they could enjoy retirement even more. As a side note, if anyone is thinking that this is something that they really need to work on, there's an amazing book that I've read multiple times and have referred to many clients called Atomic Habits. I'll stick a link in the description below. To me, it's a game changer for anyone who wants to find really easy ways to make very minor adjustments in their everyday life. Number 4, not retiring earlier and spending more. But wait, not exactly what you think. I'm combining these two because they go hand in hand in a sense. If we're still working, we're not likely spending more on the things we love because we're still spending so much time and energy working. This one, in one capacity or another, is something that everybody I spoke with really emphasized. But what's surprising is that there's two sides to this story. Side one was that they worked because they admittedly did not believe they had enough to retire, which is the very common one. They kept moving their goalposts, even though they now realized they had more than enough. The magic number they were chasing, that they looked in hindsight, was mostly arbitrary. And when they did finally reach their prize magic number, it didn't even give them that secure feeling that they thought that it would. But here's side two, and this is the side that most people aren't aware of. They admitted that they kept working because deep down, they didn't know what else they would do. One of these people was the same person who regretted not learning how to play the guitar. They kept working because they didn't know what they were going to do, even though they had these things, this hobby that they always wanted to have time for. So much of retirement planning is focused around the dollars and cents, tax strategies, and investments. But the reality is, for most successful, hardworking people, their job is their identity. It's what makes them feel important. It gives them a sense of purpose. It's their daily routine. Without that, who would they be? What would I do? They might ask themselves. But what's interesting and what a lot of people don't realize is that this is something that rarely gets admitted out loud, but is very much an extremely common factor in retirement planning. And that's why it's so important to have a plan for what you'll do with your time after you retire. I find working with clients every day, the people most ready to walk out the door from their job are the ones who say, I'm going to volunteer at my church more. I'm going to play with my band more. I'm going to restore the old car. I'm going to work part-time at Home Depot or the local gift shop. They've got a thing. They already know what they're ready to jump into. Maybe they're going to get back to running and biking, these time-intensive activities that are tough to do sometimes when you're working full-time. These people aren't hesitant to retire once someone says, hey, you have enough. They're just looking for permission, where others just keep working, even if they know they have more than enough, because they don't know what else they do. Even though they may have things that they want to do, it just hasn't clicked. And ultimately, what I found from having these conversations is that they end up regretting it because they lost time with family, friends, traveling, relaxing, drinking wine, and doing the hobbies they always wanted to do. One person put it very plainly. She said, it was just silly to keep working as long as I did. Unfortunately, all of this is easier said than done. Taking care of your health, working less, stressing less, prioritizing differently, and walking away from something you've likely done for decades isn't easy. There's no doubt about that. But if you're interested to see how we can help you plan to retire sooner or spend more so you can enjoy more time doing the things you love most, there's a link in the description below where you can schedule a free consultation. And if nothing else, hopefully this video helps you prevent at least one of these common regrets later in life. Thank you so much for joining us today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more retirement planning strategies, and we'll see you next time.